SoundHound just popped 13%, and we nailed a 10% trade this morning in our daily live session trading Big Bear AI. But summer's here, and now's a chance to scale your gains. If you're serious about growing your portfolio, investing with others focused on quantum, AI, space tech, we're in a golden age right now. Hit the second link down below to join us in our daily live trading. The beautiful thing about investing in today's world is that there's so many emerging technologies, and one of the technologies that's becoming more and more popular is voice from AI. You might have heard voice AI in videos, maybe on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. You might see it on YouTube. You already see it even in educational content across really all of the internet. So voice AI is becoming a big part of it, whether it's customer service or could be even at the drive-throughs where you order food. SoundHound is one of the emerging companies focusing specifically on AI sound. So they have surged recently up to about $10.89. Last time we did a video on them must have been a couple weeks ago. Let's see, last one we did was right here. It was May 21st. So that was right here. And we were saying, hey, maybe this support level here at about $9.30 could potentially bounce and it can act as a support here. That's exactly what happened. It did bounce here today. It's up about 13%. So there's May 21st. That's till today, about a week later. It's up. Now we're looking at this run here. There's three things to look at with sound. Number one's the market, growing AI market, very, very fast growing market. And then also the second piece is the analysis, which comes down to the chart, the news, and the financials. From a charting perspective, we're really starting to see this move happen. They broke above the 200-day moving average. And if you go back, let's say beginning of the year, they started this trend back in late 2024, October, November, and then by about, December, they were up here around $18 and ending the year out really on January 1st around $26. They sold off significantly since then. By January, they were at $12, and February, they were down to about $8. Sold all the way down to $5.59 in April, and then since April, for the last 2 months, they've really been having this consistent uptrend. So now we're saying, okay, this consistent uptrend that's been developing for the last month, they just broke above the 200-day moving average, that green line. That blue line, the EMA, oftentimes acts as a resistance. You can see it there, acting as a resistance in a bear market, but in a support level type of environment would be the bull market. So when it's bullish, it's going to act as a support. Right now, that blue line is acting as a support, so I could see a potential sell down maybe to that 1065 range, somewhere in there. Could make a lot of sense, but overall, it's looking like a 20% potential upside if it continues this trend. Now, it does look overextended on the RSI and the MACD. You could tell just by looking at it that maybe there's some room for it to sell back down. But from a perspective in the near term trend, it is starting to make that move. And then from an overall trend, not to say we're going to see previous highs right away or anything like that. In fact, we got to look at those financials. But you can see about 150 or 125% potential for profit if it does get back to previous highs. So that would be a super hyper bullish, aggressive approach. What's more conservative would be this resistance up here around $13 in the next few days. But what's even more conservative would be a little bit of a pullback first before making that move, because as you can see today, it's up 13%. It's up quite heavily. So possibly that happens. But if we're going to trade it, it would be tomorrow, potentially. We're going to have to look at the profit, and that's our third step. But before we get there, the second step or the second analysis of sound is the SOUN Stock financials. So we're going to take a look. Financials. Let's see. SOUN, SOUN Stock financials. You have revenue increasing, and it's up 151% year over year. And then the net income is up 493% year over year. So they generated $129 million in net income. So positively cash flowing. On top of that, their market cap's about 4.3 billion. So maybe, from a ratio perspective, they could have a little bit of a sell down, but from a market perspective of where they're going in AI, the reason they're surging is because of this golden age of AI, the developments of sound, and that leads us into some of their news. So financials, revenue increasing, net income looking very positive in the last quarter compared to other quarters where they've been negative. So things starting to look good there. Now, when you look at the operating income, though, it is not looking so hot. Their net in cash is good. Operating income down just a tad. But if you take a look at their news, so SoundHound, and we go directly to the source. If you go to news, there's an article every hour that's saying, buy this before it's too late. The early leader, blah, 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 which is kind of true. They kind of maybe are an early leader. But there's also a tremendous amount of potential. Like there's also this investors, like they're getting sued. If you've lost money, then make sure to contact us. A lot of those are just cash grabs and nothing to pay attention to. However, when you look at their stock, you go directly to their company. They have a couple things that they're launching. Agentic Plus framework. So they have a framework of AI agents, best-in-class voice. That's going to be something. You also have their partnerships, looks like DS Automobiles, but we know they're partnered with it's Hyundai, it's Mercedes-Benz, and some others. And it says leading brands choose SoundHound AI. So if you take a look at some of the brands that are choosing SoundHound, you got BBVA Bank, you have ASICS, Planet Fitness, you have notable ones would be Hyundai again. There's Kia, Genesis, Stellantis, so they're in the automaker world there. You got Chipotle, Pandora, Applebee's, Jersey Mike's, Samsung, Teva Pharmaceuticals, as well as Nvidia and Oracle as some of their partners. So they got custom AI solutions. They work with a lot of drive-throughs, right? So right here at the order, say your order, I'm listening. And one of their potential partnerships that could surge their revenue is their potential deal they have with McDonald's that would look something like this, where they have their SoundHound interface on the McDonald's ordering. And you also got Pandora as well as some others. So overall, things looking pretty good. You could see the news looks fairly good. Then we get into the chart, kind of looking at the next margins for profit. If they continue the deals in the hundreds of millions of dollars, then there's nothing that would say their market cap would slow down. We may just see a considerable, slow, steady build of market cap, maybe a little bit less of this super crazy volatility we saw back here in December, January, and maybe we start to see this consistent trend play out. So in that case, margin for profits about 20%. And when it comes to investing in it, whether you think it's going to continue this trend or conservative look would be the sell back down, maybe a retest on the 200-day moving average around $10.50 or below before continuing up. The important thing is that you have a plan. So if you have a plan in place and you know where you're going to take profits, maybe you're going for that 20% swing. Okay, what's your margin for risk? If you're expecting that trade to happen, if we were entering a trade, let's say tomorrow morning in our daily live trading, and we're entering this with the perspective that it's going to go up to $13, then most likely that's a 20% swing. So we'd manage risk somewhere around 3%. So that would put a stop loss there. What is 1% of $11? That's basically 11 cents times probably around 2 or 3. So around 33 cents less than this, which would put it, somewhere around $10.50. That's where I'm saying it would probably pull back to, which is why that's where I would look for an entry. So we'd look for a dip to there. If we entered right now, that would be our stop loss. But I think anybody entering right now might have that as their stop loss. And that's exactly why it might be a good entry. So we'll patiently wait, see if any opportunities present themselves at market open. If you ever want to surround yourself with like-minded individuals and you want to watch our daily live trading, then it's the second link in the description for StockMate. Would love to have you guys there in our market session tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. Pacific time. You got to get up a little earlier, but if you show up today, we're able to invest in some good companies. BBAI was one of the swings we caught, over 10% in that trade, and our portfolio is up about 8% so far today. And Stockmates seem to be loving it. The other thing to note about Stockmates is we have some earnings that we're going to be covering here very soon. We just launched it over in Exciting Earnings. It is NVIDIA that's reporting earnings tomorrow after hours. So we're going to be watching that very closely. And we have some targets as well that will be potentially tuning into that earnings call live tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. If I earned your thumbs up, hit that like button. Do consider subscribing. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.